Welcome to How to Be a Person, a podcast about life, with me, your host, Giuliano Grimaudo. Kyle, what's going on, my friend? Thanks for joining me today.
Giuliano, thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah, well, there's a couple things. When I saw you were from LaGrange, I was like, well, I'm from Brookfield, and that's right next door. And I was like, I have to talk to this guy. And then also, the fact that you're an actor, I just got into that recently. And so I'm like, I figure there's a lot we can talk about. So,
Right on, man.
but yeah, I mean, like, tell me, obviously, I know a little bit about you, but why don't you tell me a little bit more?
Okay, so went to Lyons Township High School,
Okay.
which, now, like, were you the sporting type back then?
No, not so much.
I mean, Brookfield, for anybody listening who doesn't really know the general Chicago burbs, it's like
Yeah.
the suburbs all just kind of mesh together. Like, there's no clear dividing line between any of them. So
Yeah.
we would have been, neighbors by maybe a 15-minute drive or something.
Yeah. I mean, if even like they totally border, like there's spots where LaGrange and Brookfield border each other. And
Yeah.
for people who don't know, like Chicago is literally like, it's not like it's a and I mean, I'm sure it's not like this everywhere, but like, it's not like there's like squares that are just like, this is this town and this is this town. Like it's literally this like
Yeah,
like all over
sometimes
the
you can
place.
tell, like, okay, maybe some of the houses get like maybe a little swankier. And
Yeah.
they got some money here.
Yeah. I think did you say that you were born in LaGrange or that's where you were
Yeah,
raised as well?
born and raised there, man. So
Okay.
like Lyons Township High School, like it's in both Western Springs and LaGrange. They have
Yeah.
two different campuses.
Yeah.
I think the only claim to fame that our high school really has, as far as like stars or anything close to it, is like David Hasselhoff.
Okay.
What I hear is that he like denies ever going.
What? Bro, that is so funny.
I got no hate. No, I'm not throwing shade here on the dude. Like I got no love for him, but
that's pretty funny.
Rough days were left behind in LaGrange.
Yeah. When did you graduate?
Graduated high school back in 2010.
Oh yeah, that's the year I graduated too. That's so funny. I'm like, because I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, I wonder if I like ever I'm sure I ran into you at some point. I just don't. I just don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, once you're in that general vicinity, it's like it's such a small world out there, and that's the thing. Like, the problem was like my mom was mayor of our town for like an 8-year period.
Okay.
It's not a paid thing. I can't tell you how many people were like, "Whoa, wait, your mom's the mayor? Can she get me out of like a parking ticket?" No. That's not how this goes. If anything, everybody, like all of the cops, especially like knew our like cars.
Mm.
So me driving around in high school, like I was more reckless and I'm a stupid high schooler. And it's just like you can't screw her off the same way. You're just kind of like, not that anybody's under the gun or like under greater scrutiny. It's just like people kind of are watching out for you.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
So, but now you said you live in Colorado, right?
Yeah. I was in Columbus, Ohio for 7 years, in between Chicago and now Denver.
Okay. So tell me about that journey a little bit. Like, how did you go from Illinois to Idaho to where you are now? Or Ohio, you said? Sorry.
Once you get into the general Midwest, it's like, except people, I think, from Boise would probably suggest otherwise. They have mountains out there. How did that go? That I went to Miami University in Ohio, and it wasn't by really actually any choosing that I ended up back in Ohio. It's just that was where I got my first full-time job. Like my thinking was, back in 2014 when I graduated, I'll just get like an agency job or something in Chicago. But first job I had, Columbus, Ohio. Investors pulled their money almost immediately. So 2.5 months in, I was laid off.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so I was sort of like, I was faced with that like decision very early on of like, well, do I just go back to Chicago, live with Ma and Pa? Or do I just stick out here and try to figure out what's next? And the latter was obviously what I ended up choosing. And so kind of fell through a couple different, corporate things like Bath and Body Works, Victoria's Secret, Abbott Nutrition, small design agency, and then I just ended up freelancing and kind of spinning up my like V1 of my marketing agency, like way back when.
Mm,
And so that was yeah, that was it. Just Columbus was my like grounds to kind of figure my shit out, really.
mm.
And then I just got to a point where I was like, I need. Uh, well, I went to Costa Rica for a bit, and like topographic. Have you been to Costa Rica?
I haven't.
If you're fine with like big bugs, go. That's the only thing. But it's like topographically speaking, if you're all right, so like when you're flying through like Costa Rica, you're in a smaller plane, like max like 15 people. So you're flying lower to the ground. So you can still see a lot of like the topography of Costa Rica. It's a beautiful country. Like the the shrubs and like the way that they've gridded out all of the plants and trees, it looks literally like a tapestry.
Oh wow.
And then you get mountains and all. It's a beautiful beautiful country. And I spent probably 2 months there, sort of mid COVID, and that was the turning point when I was like, I need some sort of like natural splendor, something like this in my life. So that's
Mm,
what pushed me out to Denver. The two are
I see.
drastically different. I fully acknowledge that, but um, Denver is slightly more attainable. There's a little bit more opportunity here as far as what I'm looking for. So,
Yeah, well, and I feel like Denver and just Colorado in general has kind of a big like outdoor culture, right?
oh yeah, yeah, a
So you
lot
said you
of
started your own agency. Like, tell me about that.
oh boy. Well, what do you want to know about it?
Well, I mean, I'm just curious to hear. So I myself I have a bit of a background in marketing, and so I was just kind of curious, like, what you know, what exactly what route you went, like why you started it, all that stuff.
The reason for being okay, so my degree that I graduated with, graphic design.
Oh,
So
okay.
graphic design is a very like integral piece of marketing. The the reason that I really got into it, like my dad was in like marketing and advertising, and so he
Mm,
did the whole like agency thing. He retired working in advertising for law firms, and so he was sort of like back, not completely, but sort of like in the like you know 70s, 80s, 90s of like doing like the Mad Men ish era
mm,
of advertising. And he did something that I actually believe to be somewhat masterful, is that he has a copywriting background, and so I remember him showing me this like dossier one time. Within it had some marketing copy and the accompanying, I think, like imagery and whatnot, and it was like I really wish that I can actually remember the, like the copy and everything verbatim. If I try to make it up, I'm not going to do it justice. But he managed to make law firm marketing funny,
mm,
and that's not something that is easily done. Like nobody thinks about the legal field as being like something that you can actually laugh about.
mm,
So it was like that was, I think, a very early on seed planting of like there is room for creative expression in the world of business. So that sort of led me into just the okay, we can, how do we figure out like creative meets business? How do you get money for being creative instead
yeah,
of simply just drawing caricatures at a carnival?
yeah.
And the other component that led me to saying like, okay, I need to do the marketing agency thing is that like I love working with all kinds of people. I like when I was at Bath and Body Works, I was just doing one, like I was doing email design for the one thing, which is Bath and
Mm,
Body.
yeah.
Oh my god, I wanted to kill myself. It was they not only was it horrible leadership, but it was just painful working with one brand. It's the same messaging day after day
mm,
after day. The marketing agency means, all right, you're working with different teams, there's different projects, there's maybe different goals and objectives with these different things, whatever it may be. So for somebody who just likes to keep life interesting, a little spicier, I don't know, I like the
mm.
marketing vibe. That was it. I just like doing different stuff. Keeps me more engaged.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So when you started your own agency, were you um like what kind of agency specifically? Like were you guys doing like branding, or were you doing more like specifically like ads or marketing in general, or what?
The way that it sort of evolved, initially it was me doing like design, like branding and whatnot. Then
Yeah.
the like photo video component came into that as well. And okay, inevitably, getting more into like the writing and like the full kind of, full brand development bit. So this is all within the umbrella of like digital marketing. And where we kind of netted out by the time that I shut things down was like I would essentially partner up with other agencies that would handle the like the marketing, the analytics, the like the ads, and so it became more of this holistic package. Because if anybody comes and says, "All right, we're going to need a rebranding," the chances that they're going to need some additional marketing after the fact
Mm.
much higher. So it really only makes sense to bring those two different components, the branding and then the analytics, together. Um, the reason I shut things down is because AI has completely fucked up the marketing world. So the marketing, I'm a marketing coach too. I'm saying this all as
Sure.
somebody who's still trying to capitalize on marketing,
Yeah.
which I'm actually realizing is probably the dumbest thing for me to have gone touring right now. That's like I spun up a whole coaching practice being like, this is it, man. I feel really good about this. AI is like, you're good. You don't have to do anything.
Mm.
And like every single component, like design, photo, video, copywriting, even developing websites now, you can do everything with AI.
Yeah.
So never before have I felt so disconnected from the marketing world.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like I think that well, I've had a lot of conversations with people about AI in general, and I think that overall I'm optimistic about the future of it, but it is kind of crazy how quickly it has gotten like amazing at
Yeah.
all of these things, right? Like, cause to in order to be able to say like, hey, I'm feeling like someone who owns or who does marketing, for them to be like, man, this is really affecting me, is like it clearly has to be doing a decent enough job, right? It's not like it's just like in 2020, or what was it, 2021, when like the public version of chat gbt first went live and people were just like messing with it. Like it was not great, it was good, don't get me wrong, it was good. I mean, it was like better than anything anybody had ever seen before, but it would, in comparison to now, it was like a joke. Now you're like, damn, there's so many things that like it's just so good at that it's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts how quickly it did all that, and now it's finding. And I think that marketing is like the first thing they went after, which is kind of funny, but it really is like the first thing that, in my opinion, that AI was just like, we're decimating this.
Well,
It's
AI
got
was
image
meant to,
generation, video generation, like graphics, but also all of the copywriting, all of the
yeah,
sales stuff, scripting. It's like, wow.
which is not to say like, okay, so I want to make it clear because like marketing itself is not easy, so to speak. It's another component that is part of the the business ownership, business maintenance. This is
Yeah.
just part of the daily operations. So it's not a matter that it's easy or difficult. It's just that it's something that is bona fidely a problem for business owners of all kinds.
Mm.
And I mean, the root intention of it is to solve for perhaps inefficiencies, or to offload whatever we got going on,
Mm.
make things easier so that we can
Yeah.
focus on the biz operations.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Now, where AI is both incredible and terrifying at the same time is to say that it's taken essentially, you know, just about all of the knowledge that it's taken humans roughly what, like 10,000 years or something to evolve. And it can more or less take that data and just, boop, all right, we're good. What
Yeah.
else you got for us?
It really is crazy. It's like it literally knows everything that any human has ever known now, and you're like, oh,
Exactly. Yeah.
okay,
So
so
I don't know. Like, I was on a different podcast, and this the host, who's a British fella, so he's got the the great accent. But dude's like, all right, well, give us some sort of a sign off, and I'm like, all right, here's the deal, bud. I'm a hardcore realist, and I'm trying not to be bleak about this. One of the realities is we're still in this liminal spot, right?
Mm.
Where I think that and this is based on what I'm seeing, is the individuals that are actually building these AI technologies, they have their own goals that are happening sort of behind the scenes
Mm.
very quietly.
Yeah.
And to us, they're just like, "Well, go make a video of a dog jumping off a diving board. Like, just go have fun," Um, so I think there's a little bit of distraction. To what? I don't know, but this is also really to suggest, like, we don't quite know what the end goal, or like the next sort of step in this is. Like, we know,
Yeah.
like, all right, AI tools are here to augment the human experience and make things
Yeah.
hopefully easier, but we don't, as far as I can see, we don't really know what's next.
Yeah.
And because
Yeah.
that there's a lot of hesitancy because of that unknowing. When people don't know, they don't spend money. So
Mm.
that's why, as a consultant, I've heard from other speakers, it's not a good time for us, coaching
Yeah.
wise. So um, we don't know.
Yeah. It is interesting to think about because, well, I mean, that's technically right. This is how it's been all of humanity, right? You don't know what's coming next. And I think in the United States, for a decent enough time, it's been like predictable, right? Like for a really long time, it was like, go to school, get a degree, do this, and it's
Yeah,
just all
and then
going to
you
work
take that
out.
degree and you get a great job. You work your way up, and then you die.
Exactly, exactly. And the thing is that nothing ever stays the same. But I think it stayed the same long enough here that now everyone's like, "Oh my god, we don't know what's coming next." And you're like, "Bro, that's how it's always been."
Yeah,
Like that's the history of humanity. Like we have no idea what's coming
and that's
next.
it. And the reason, like, what I had to sort of, like, add the little, like, happy button, is to say, here's the deal. Like, this isn't a lie. I do fully believe that humanity as a whole, whatever this next phase is, knowing or unknowing, will rise to the occasion. It's just
Yeah.
this liminal space, right as we're like, "Huh, do we go? What do we do? No, stay, go." Like, no, we'll figure it out. It kind of sucks, maybe a little bit right now, but
Yeah.
we'll rise to the occasion.
Yeah, well, and just like any other like big change, there always is going to be a period where it's difficult. And so I don't think that it's necessarily going to be that like this big change is just going to be all positive immediately. But I do think that overall, it's going to move us in a good direction, And we have to understand though that like change, although sometimes can go smoothly, sometimes and a lot of times it doesn't. So we have to be like
I,
prepared for that.
things
But
backfire. Yeah.
yeah, but the thing, so I don't know. I will say overall, I'm very optimistic about AI, and I think that it is cool. Like something to think about for me is because I've always been very entrepreneurial. I've always had my hand in like a bunch of different things, and th- what it does, at least so far from my experience with it, is that it seems that it's making a lot of things that were inaccessible before now very accessible to the average person. Like
Yeah.
when you talk about like being able to spin up a website, I was messing around with like this website that well, it's an AI website, right? That lets you make websites, and I think they call it vibe coding, where you're not actually coding, you're just telling the AI what you want it to make, and then it goes and makes it.
Mhm.
And I spun up my own website for something that I was just like, I was learning, I forget what it was now. I was just learning about something, and I was like, well, I want to make it like a use, like I want to make a use of this for myself. And I'm not like, I didn't want to like post it anywhere for anyone else to go to the website. I'm like, I want to be able to go to this website and type this in and get this out. And so I just like told it, I'm like, hey, this is what I want it to be. And it like totally, it made the whole thing in like, I don't know, like 2 minutes. And it was like all designed and everything too. Like it wasn't like it was like some, shitty, like just very blank website. It
A
looked like
90s
someone
website.
had taken the time, and like you could have like published it the way it was.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, this is kind of nuts, like
Yeah.
where this would have taken however long before. I don't even know, right? Because some
Mhm.
of the stuff I was having to do was not just like, like there's content websites where it's like that's very easy. You just put stuff up, right? If someone has like a portfolio if they're a photographer, right? That's very basic, But like what I was having to do was like do things in the background, and so I'm like, I don't even know what that would have taken in the past for someone to code a website to be able to do what I wanted it to do.
Well, to
But I
code
just
it and
told
then
it.
to get it through the rounds of approval from
Yeah.
the different, like, all right, well, head of marketing, maybe creative director, freaking CEO, sales, all these people have to be like, I like it. It's sleek. Well, great. Okay. Your input was highly valuable there. So AI, that's what AI is doing. It's just like, nah, we don't need them. We just, that's it.
If you've been stuck waiting for the right moment to start your business or scale the one you already have, this is for you. OPM Mastery helps entrepreneurs get the capital they need, and you can get pre-qualified in under 2 minutes with no credit check. They've already helped over 1,200 companies secure more than $134 million in funding. Whether you need working capital, financing for real estate, money to purchase equipment, or you're just launching something new, they can help you qualify fast. Just go to funding.howtobeaperson.co or click the link in the show notes to apply now. All right, back to the show.
Ready
It's
to
pretty
go.
interesting. And like I said, I think obviously there's going to be pros and cons no matter what. Like there's going to be some, there's things about it, like I said, that it's making certain things that were previously out of reach for most people. It's now accessible to all of them, which
Yeah.
is cool. But also at the same time, that means like there's some people's jobs that are just genuinely like you don't need that person anymore. Like you do not need them in your business anymore because the AI can do it.
Yeah. It's a
And
tough
for
thing.
for the business owner, that's a great thing, right? They're like,
Loving.
yeah,
Well,
but
the
for
owners
the
themselves,
employees, you're like, shit, that was my job.
but that's the thing. Like CEOs too are very replaceable, and like we
Mm.
really don't need a lot of them to be doing what they do, whatever they think they do. So look, I'm not trying to pass judgment here. It's just that's one of the realities. That
Mm.
yeah. So
So where are you at now, right? Because I know you said you had an agency before. Like what I know you said you shut it down. Is that what you said? And you went into coaching?
yeah, shut it down around like Thanksgiving last year, and I was actually looking for a full-time job for a bit.
Oh wow.
Couldn't find anything. I have to imagine it's just down to like the way that I was presenting myself, because I have a substantial amount of experience.
Mm.
I don't know if people see founder and think like, oh, this guy's not going to be the sheep that we need,
Mm.
which is a strict need in corporate. People that push back or otherwise too creative, that can be problematic in certain circles. But I was looking for positions that would, openly accept individuals with that sort of mindset thinking. Um, because the root of it is, if anybody provides any level of feedback or pushback, it's like, all right, well, this is for the betterment of the whole. Like, I wouldn't say anything otherwise.
Mm.
But regardless, I didn't find a job. And so I met with a coach for myself, thinking, okay, I have to improve my own application here. And so in the very first conversation I have with her, she says, look, I know that we have to focus like on your resume. For what it's worth, I can also see you as a coach, though.
Mm.
And then within, I think that same week, the Colorado Nonprofit Association, they reach out, they invite myself and a colleague to build a single day boot camp for the nonprofits that are their members,
Mm.
teach them marketing and fundraising. So, all right, I had this sort of dual happenstance of like, all right, well, you should be a marketing coach. And I'm also building out course material for the CNA.
Mm.
And it was at that point, I'm like, what if I just went hardcore and did the whole coaching thing? And
Yeah.
within that time, I was trying to just figure out any and all avenues. And so, I reached out to an agent as well, as far as like acting and becoming a talent goes, because I have an improv background. I've been a public speaker. I've
Mm.
emceed, charity fundraisers to ribbon cuttings. I've done just a bunch of random stuff, and I'm not scared of, I think, a lot of things that most people would be otherwise. Um, so I found an agent too, just thinking like, if I can pick up like a commercial or something along the way, then like, why not?
Hmm.
And all right, so spun up a coaching practice. That's Anarchy for a Day. If anybody's actually interested, we'll just throw a .com at the end of that one. The the acting portion has become almost a primary focus, um, because I realized it's something that is just a tremendous way to spend time. You get to meet, again, it's the same notion. You meet a ton of new people every single set that you're on. You get
Yeah.
to, work for occasionally different products. If you're doing, more dramatic like film or TV, then, it's these narratives, and just to be involved with projects like that, man, I have to anticipate that, like being in the same boat, that there's probably a lot of similar like driving agents behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was thinking because you were talking about that before about the variety, and I'm definitely the same type of person. I remember I used to work at Trader Joe's, and
Okay, there's Joe. Yes.
dude, honestly, I loved working at Trader Joe's. That was probably like my favorite job. Well, one of my favorites. And one of the things that I loved there was that, and I don't know if they still do this, they probably do because it was really effective, was every hour of the day was scheduled, but it was scheduled to do something different, right? So like you didn't come in and do like the same thing for your whole shift,
Hmm.
and you didn't even do it the same thing for like 2 or 3 hours at a time. It was like an hour that you were doing one thing, and then at the top of the next hour, you went to you go look and you go, okay, now I got to go do this, and then at the next hour, okay, now I got to go do this, and
Good.
man, it was awesome. Like it
It
really
keeps you
gave me like what
so
you were
much
talking
more
about, that
engaged.
variety.
Yeah.
And it also was like it felt like the day just flew by, right? Because it was just this constant like change. And you're like, okay, now the next thing, now the next thing. You're really just working like an hour at a time. And so that was a lot of fun. But I'm mentioning it because what you were saying before about variety, and I do feel that way too when it comes to. So you mentioned acting and like doing commercials. That's the type of acting that I do. I do commercial acting.
Hmm.
It was last summer. I got an ad from another commercial actor who was basically he had made a course about like how to get into commercial acting. And I will say I'm the type of person, like I stand by courses, man. Like courses are awesome. I've bought a lot of courses and I've learned a lot and I've
And
made money from them, and
study up. That's
yeah,
it.
no, they're awesome, dude.
Hmm.
And I feel like I have to say that because they're so I literally was just you don't know this about me, but people listening might know because I talk about it enough that like I dive right into comment sections. Like that's like my favorite thing when I'm on Instagram. I watch a video and then I immediately go like read through all the comments.
Okay, so you're not doing it to like cause some ruckus. You're
No, 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 no. I'm an
okay.
observer. I'm an observer. I don't comment. I read all the comments.
Got it. Okay.
And because I've always been like really interested in how people think and all that. So there was a comment just yesterday, just last night, I saw that made me go, and it was, well, I guess this could open up a whole other conversation. Maybe I'll paraphrase. They basically were just shitting on courses. Okay. They were shitting on courses and saying that they're scams and all that stuff. And I was like, oh my God, that's so annoying because I love courses, man. I'm seriously like, I have bought so many courses, but it's not like I just bought them and then didn't do anything. Like I ate them up and then applied them and learned and like
Yeah.
did stuff. And some of the ones that were there to help me make money, I went and made money with them, you know? And then the other ones that were like, for example, I guess the commercial acting, right? That's part of it is to make money. But I bought that course, and literally 2 weeks from the day that I bought the course, I signed a contract with a talent agency out here.
Hmm.
And what's funny is that wasn't even the point of the course. Right. So he was teaching how to get into commercial acting.
Yeah.
And I just followed everything he said, where he was like, here's how, like, this is how you get these gigs. And part of why it appealed to me was because in high school, I went to Riverside Brookfield, by the way.
Hmm.
Um, I took an acting class. I loved it. I was having a lot of fun. The teacher was like, you should be in the play. Like, you're really good at this. And I just didn't. Like, I don't know why. I just didn't do it. And, as an adult now, I have this ad comes across, and he's like, you could make, a few $1,000s at a pop, a day, just doing commercial acting. And I was like, well, that sounds awesome. And also, like, I really liked acting, so I'm gonna try this. So I bought this guy's course, and his whole thing was like, you can get an agent. And he's like, I have an agent in a couple different cities. He goes, but you don't need one in order to get commercial work. He's like, this is what you do, right? And he's talking about how to put your profile together, and like on which websites you want to, which casting websites you want to focus on, and how to audition, and how to do this and how to do that. And so I was doing all of that and just applying it. And then at one point in the course, when he's talking about the agent thing, he's like, you don't need an agent, but if you want one, that's fine. And like, especially when you're just in the beginning, like, it's very likely that you'll get, or very unlikely that you will get signed. But if you want to go and apply an interview, he's like, then you can see what that process is like, and you can always reapply later. So go ahead and do it. And I just looked up, like, I just Googled, like, talent agent, commercial talent agent near me. And I kind of scrolled through a couple of them, and one of them I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like this one. I applied. They're like, hey, we want to interview you. I did a Zoom call, and they were like, hey, we know you're probably considering other agencies, but we want to, make an offer to you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm literally not. Like, yes, let's do this. And so it was like 2 weeks from when I first saw that ad to when I got signed as a commercial actor. And it's been a lot of fun. It's exactly what you said, where it's just like, you don't know what you're getting into. You kind of just, obviously you audition, so you know what the role is, but you show up, and I'm like, it's been kind of this roller coaster where you're working on all these different projects, and it's a lot of fun. And it's also good money too.
Yeah. Well, hey, congrats on that. Your sort of train of the happenstances there. That I can't imagine, like, everybody, like, for me, I think it was kind of actually stupid that, like, my agent first took me on, because I was like, I had a decent background. Like, it had, some very interesting colors to it.
Yeah.
But, if I think back to, like, my initial auditions, I'm like, oh my God, I was horse shit across the board.
Oh God.
And so it was like, for me, the course that I invested in was acting class. It's like, out here, it's AEC Studios. Like, Brian McCulley, he's been absolutely, like, crucial in me figuring my stuff out. And then I was on sets, and another fellow actor from the Springs, he recommended a couple books, and one was like Meisner, to studying, like, these actual, like, acting coaches throughout the years. And so that is the course. It's like, all right, just absorb, learn, and then apply, and do it as fast as you can. That was the whole mentality. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
So when did you actually get into acting?
This year.
Just this year?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Wait, but like, actually, how long ago? Because for me, it was August of last year.
We're somewhere, like, I don't remember. It was like earlier this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like,
Man, that is kind of funny. That's kind of funny. No, acting is really cool. I think, yeah, it's funny because, I think it's so easy for, like, the general population to, like, judge people who are in places that, they've never been in. Okay. And I say that from the example of, like I told you, I dive in all these comment sections. So there's a lot of people who are, judge
You're talking
rich
about
people.
Like, let's have a conversation, then see who's judging.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, there's a lot of judgment of rich people, executives, of, actors, right? Like, famous people, influencers, all of those things. And it's always kind of interesting to me to observe that, because there's a judgment from a place of essentially ignorance, right? And that's not as an insult. It's just by definition, right? Like, you don't know, you've never been in this person's shoes to be able to say anything about their situation, right? And I was thinking about that, like, even when I got into the acting, it started making me think, like, oh yeah, like, what would I do in this situation, right? Like, what if, there's some, like, commercial for something that I don't really agree with, right? Or something that, like, I necessarily wouldn't stand by. Like, would I do that commercial? Would I not?
Yeah.
I don't know, right?
I'll
And
put
it was
this way.
funny.
like there. So I was in a production. It was written by. It was a student thesis project,
Okay.
and so written by a student who comes from immigrant Russian parents,
Mm,
and so this sort of script is really like the whole thing is it's a very stark representation of what's happening today with ICE,
mm,
and I think the undertone is somewhat anti-ICE. So the my I'm removing my own personal um, thoughts or feelings around this, but
yeah.
the reality is okay. Well, we're filming this. I'm playing the lead here, who
Mm,
is an ICE agent, and we had the other ICE agents that we brought in. Two of them were military guys, so we all look convincing
mm,
dressed up as ICE. So like we had fake guns and everything. So when we were filming, we were getting calls from like the neighborhood being like, "Yo, we got ICE activity happening
mm.
around here." They're calling and reporting. So, all right, I tell this story, and people are like, "Good, we need people like calling it in." I'm like, just let these freaking students cook. My God, Denver sucks at respecting film. Like
Oh gosh.
we told them very out, like we had lights and everything. We're like, it's a movie. Like we're playing pretend here, but we cannot. It doesn't operate the same way as like LA, for instance.
Mm,
But that's the thing. I have told people about that production, which is still in post. But I told people, I'm like, well, yeah, I'm playing Ice Agent. And some people are like, and like they more or less have that reaction in some
mm,
form of like, I cannot believe that you would do that. What, are you an Ice Agent then? Well, no, I'm an actor who is playing the role of somebody who's innately 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm torn.
mm,
That's why a character like that is interesting because
yeah.
you get to color it up with the like I'm morally sort of teetering on the edge. But others,
Mm.
I told another friend, he's like, "Oh yeah, I applied for ICE." I'm like, "Oh boy, okay." So
Uh,
that's the interesting thing is it's just
yeah.
becoming an actor opens you up to different kinds of conversations, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm still uh, learning and seeing is all right. How do people react in these different scenarios? Like, are they like, "Oh my god, dude, like you're gonna be a star"? Like I'm like, I don't. I'm just in it because I'm finally like my weird quirks are accepted. Corporate never
Mm.
liked me, so I feel like I at
Uh,
least have some sense of belonging
yeah, yeah, I
if
get
even
that.
for a couple days at a time.
Yeah. No, it's funny when you think about like because I think commercial work is interesting because especially and I say especially now because it seems like so many so many things have been like politicized, like even when it comes to like companies, right? In the past, like companies were totally separate from politics, right? You just viewed a product as a product, that's it.
No,
Like
yep,
I'm buying Coca-Cola because it's delicious soda, right? And now that's not the case, right? Like every brand, like like well, not every brand, right? But a lot of brands, it's like now there's a you're taking a side almost
yeah.
politically when you support a brand or don't support one.
Well, that's social media has brought in this ability to just like we're aware now that like Zuckerberg is in
Yeah.
conversation with Trump and like okay, great.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how these two are in cahoots or what they're talking about, but part of me doesn't want to know.
Yeah. Well, and so that's the thing is that I'm sitting here thinking, okay, well, when I get commercials now, it's like, well, this is interesting because for me, like the conclusion that I came to was like, I'm doing a job and like, I
As an
kind of
actor,
don't care. Yeah.
respectively.
Yeah. For me, I'm like, as
Yeah,
an actor, I'm doing a job.
that's
And
it.
like, even if it's something I don't stand for, what do I care? Like, I'm getting paid to act.
Yeah,
I'm
as
not
long
like
as
this.
it's not something I'm staunchly like against, like more
Yes.
like I'm open to it.
Yeah,
But that's the thing.
exactly.
Acting itself is simply a job. Good
Yeah.
acting, it's meant to look easy, but um, then think about the flip side as a marketer. I fucking hate advertising.
Mm.
I don't want to see it, but then here I am, like, I'm acting.
uh,
So talk about my own like moral, like, oh boy, what am I even like? Why am I
yeah.
feeding the more or less the monster that I don't even like?
Yeah, that's so funny. Okay, I'm curious what your thoughts are of when it comes to AI and acting. Right, because we're talking about marketing, okay? But when you see the AI models, like the newer ones as they come out and they're showing the image generation, like first of all, the image generation has got like genuinely to a point where it is like you cannot tell the difference between
Yeah.
an AI image and a real one. And video is like not very far behind. My mom sends me videos I don't know if she's listening to this. She sends me videos all the time on Instagram and I'm like,
I'm
"Mom, that's AI. That's AI, Mom." She's like, "Oh
yeah.
my gosh, this is so cute." I'm like, "Mom, it's AI. That's not real. That didn't happen."
Yeah. And like, all right, here's the deal. Just because something looks good doesn't mean it feels good. It's the
Mm,
feeling that, like, the reason that you are able to uh, sort of discern whether or not something is AI is because you can discern between, all right, this is what is innately human and this is AI. Now, granted, AI is going to
mm,
get and is by the day getting better and better at
yeah.
figuring out what, like, on a nucleic, is that even a word? Like a molecular level, like
Uh,
what makes us human. And that's the weird aspect, because I all right, think about like voice acting.
mm,
There's some incredible, like, AI like voiceover work.
yeah.
It's easy. You can train it, and you can do incredible stuff with it. And depending on the project budget, that may be the best option. So as far as trying to build and develop a career, acting on camera is much safer than voiceover, which I believe is going to
Mm,
be taken over by robots very quickly. Um, but the one thing that I'm holding on to is pretty much the one thing that humans are forever going to champion, and that is our ability to fail. Because I don't believe that robots can fail the same way that humans do.
mm,
Now, failure, if we think about it, is not only one of the probably most fastest ways that we can grow if we're able to actually learn from our failures, but two, some of the best performances come from what is technically registered as a failure,
mm,
whether from the director or the script, or something like that. And so, failure is what's real. That is innate to the human existence. And the moment that we bring AI into the question, we remove a lot of that failing component, and failure is what we can relate to.
mm,
Whether or not we love it or hate it, I'm not suggesting that, but that's part of the narrative that we, as the viewer, as the bystander, it's like that. Well, the only reason I can actually watch and enjoy something is because I see myself in it, and I want to see somebody else fail the exact
mm.
same way I did.
Yeah, that's
Robots,
interesting.
I don't believe, can fail that way.
Yeah. You might have heard me mention on the show that I drive a Tesla, and genuinely, it's one of the best cars I've ever owned. It's insanely quick, it's super quiet, it's cheap to charge it right in my garage, and for what you get, it's just a great value. If you've been thinking about getting one yourself, check out tesla.howtobeaperson.co. There's always some kind of special offer available through that link. Right now, they're giving 3 months of full self-driving for free, and some models are even up to $1,000 off, but those deals change all the time. So if you're curious, go to tesla.howtobeaperson.co or just click the link in the show notes. All right, back to the episode. I could see that. Again, like I mentioned in the comments, I've seen a lot of people on AI videos be like, it has no soul. Right? There's no soul. And
That's
I
it.
don't disagree with them, right? Like for me, I am at least up until now, like today, right? Up until right now, today, I feel like I can tell pretty good, right? Like when something is AI.
Yeah.
But I wonder because, okay, look, I agree with you 100%. Like voice acting, I have like a reel that my agent has, right? To get me voice acting stuff.
Yeah.
So like I would love to do it, but I do agree with you that like voice acting is basically like, if someone's like, I want to get into voice acting, I'm like, don't do it, bro.
Voice acting, graphic design, like
Yeah,
numerous other
yeah,
copywriting. Are you shit?
Yeah, no, it's
Don't
just
do
not.
it.
No, no, it's crazy. Um, but I'm wondering because I've seen, right, we've seen since, when Chat GPT came out, and I think it was 2021, like the improvement in image generation in AI since then has been like insane. Like genuinely, what's funny was like a couple months ago, like the image generation I thought was like really good. You're like, wow, that's really good. And then they came out with, what was it, like Nano Banana Pro or something, and they show them the two next to each other,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, shit, I thought that was really good. But this looks literally, you're like, this looks like someone just took this photo with their camera, like with their phone. You're like, this is insane how good this looks. Like the previous one, you're like, it looks good, right? It looks like a good photo. That one looks like an actual photo. You're
Yeah.
like, it literally looks like someone just shot this, like
Well,
it took this selfie with their
because
phone.
it does factor in some of those like imperfections. Like it's no
Yes.
longer like the perfect, like a lot of AI. Reason I hate it is because like AI beautifies people, so it makes them prettier
Yeah.
than they actually are. Like
Yeah, it's overly polished
I've
usually.
seen you in person. You're not that good looking. And like so that's the thing is like well hey I just miss humanity. I want to see who I'm actually talking to, and now everybody with
Yeah.
an AI thing, I'm like I no longer know if you're actually real.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
uh,
so what I was getting at though is that like with the image generation getting to the point where it is now, like in the past I could point it out. Now with images, I'm like, okay, if someone showed me this, I would not know that was AI. Like I would not know.
yeah
And I'm
they
really, really good at it, I think.
there's enough like factors that AI is like bringing in,
Yeah.
like the camera angle, like somebody would be like awkwardly holding a phone being
Yeah.
above their head, and that's how these things are like
And there'll
they're
be like a mess in the background,
yeah
like just like you would expect with a real person. Whereas previously the AI, like you said, not only the person, but everything was a little too polished.
yeah
Whereas now it's like there's stuff, like it looks like literally someone just took this picture in their room. So what I'm wondering is that like, you know, how far away is video from getting to that point where it's like you don't need people, you don't need actual actors to do this anymore.
I don't know. That's
Yeah,
the
I don't either. It could literally be tomorrow.
because uh, like Hollywood is being twisted up as we speak.
Yeah.
Um, like I've heard this from like people that are like deep in the industry,
Mm,
and it's their whole review on the entire thing is just bleak. I'm not going to say what or who they are
yeah.
associated with, but they're like working with the biggest names out there. Um, so I don't know. Netflix is buying up Warner Brothers, and like that's
Mm,
just twisting up the entire industry. And they're just saying like everything Warner Brothers, publishes and produce will keep theatrical as is. Like we have no intention of
interesting.
bringing everything strict to platform. But AI, it's like we're going to lose the human of creation at that point. Art is going to
Well,
be
so okay, so this is the thing about it to me. Remember we talk about like, okay, the graphic design thing, right? Like, do not get a job as a graphic designer. It takes 2 seconds to make something in AI that is probably better than you would be for the first like 5 years out of college, right? And
yeah
like you can make it better right now. Okay, so right, don't do that. But in my head, like, remember we were talking about the business owner. It's like the business owner is like, well, I'm thrilled. Like I just go on Canva and be like, hey, I need a poster for this. It needs this information, blah, blah, blah. And it's done. Right.
yeah
So, but the business owner's still there. So in my head, I'm like, okay, so maybe when it comes to movies, right? When it comes to TV shows, when it comes to things like that, it's like, well, the director, the writer, like that person who is making it will still be there, but it's just way more easier and way more accessible for them to take their idea and turn it into something that can be consumed by other people. Whereas right now, it takes thousands of dollars, hundreds of hours, right, of work and pulling all these different people together in order to make something like that happen. You get what I'm saying? Like, because it seems like, oh, well, there's not going to be, we're taking the humanity out of it. It's like, well, are we, or are we just moving it into a, or we're moving it into a different part of the process, if that makes sense?
well, I mean, there's a very stark reality of that too. I mean, that's going to be in large part that we're going to see entire YouTube channels spun up of just this is AI dramatic, like narrative content.
Yeah.
But in that process, the actor is omitted, seemingly.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. No, I agree.
hairstylist, the
I
individual
agree.
writing it, shooting it, doing anything. So
Yeah.
the number of jobs that we would be removing in that sort of instance are not insubstantial. So
Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot.
so that's
Yeah.
where if you get to that point where you start removing enough jobs, then okay, well, legal is going to get involved, and it seems like IP and anybody dealing with like copyrighted and like trademark stuff, like these are the individuals that have any power over AI at
Mm,
this juncture, because
yeah.
that's how we've been training AI is we put essentially copyrighted material into it to say like, well, this is what we've done, and now all this AI stuff is starting to look like specific Disney characters. Disney sends out a cease and desist,
Mm,
and that's it.
interesting. Yeah, I think, one of the things that surprised me when I got into acting and I was finally on set and doing stuff was how much actually goes into what like the final product that we see on TV, right? Whether it's a commercial or a show or a movie, all of those things. You're like, holy cow, there is so not only just so much work involved, so much coordination, but so many people, right? Like I always think there's this commercial that I was just on set for that I was filming, and I'm the only person in this shot, right? But as I'm standing there, I'm looking all around, and there's like one person at the camera. There's one person like standing behind the guy at the camera. There's the director. There's two other people standing over here. In the other room, there's like two makeup people. There's other actors, right? There's like so many people
Yep.
that are employed just getting this one shot. You're like, this is
Yep.
crazy. And I think this is the part to me that where it feels like, well, this is interesting, because for someone who really wants to get something out there, they would look at that and be like, there's so many barriers to getting what I want out there. And if AI can remove those barriers, that feels amazing. That feels like a miracle. But all of the people involved, everyone who's getting paid, including me in front of the camera, is like, well, yeah, but if AI is doing this, then I'm not making money, right? I don't get to get paid. I don't get to do what I love to do. And
That's
so
fair.
that's where I feel there's this pull back and forth,
Well, think about the converse though, because all right, if you're pitching a movie, all right, you can get into the whole like argument of like what reboots and like just bringing back like stuff that's already been done. Like
Yeah.
that's not my goal here, because I think we've probably lost a lot of the like original screenplays and all that stuff in that entire conversation. But if you think about the whole pitch process, somebody says, all right, I have a screenplay, wrote this, let's get it, actually produced. But to do that, you have to pitch it to a team. And the screenplays that make it through that, there has to be something in there that people can hold on to. So,
Mm,
all right, you suggest it's a miracle that anybody now would be able to create. Well, look at social media. This is that
yeah.
platform that has enabled anybody to create. Do we believe that that's a fully good thing? Across the board, I can guarantee no, that is not the
No.
case. So we don't want everybody creating, because there's going to be so much shit out there that we have to just sift through that
Mm,
doesn't even equate to a good story. Because
interesting.
otherwise, people don't have enough time to even like ingest. We're not looking for random. We're looking for things that we can feel.
Mm,
And like, I'm just going to be blatantly honest. The reason that some people are better at things than others is because they're better storytellers.
mm,
Not everybody out there is a storyteller. They may feel like they have a story to tell, but telling that story in a cinematic,
mm,
digestible manner, that itself is a craft. And there may be AI that can really enable that, but I do not believe that the casual bystander should be a creator. I believe that
mm,
there are certain talents that are meant to build and create and tell stories that people can actually relate to. And I believe that there are going to be others who wish they could. And for that, to bring it full circle and say, go study up, figure out how
mm.
to do that so that you can make content that will be digestible.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm really curious, like the direction it's all gonna go, because obviously, someone could be listening and be like, "Shut up, you stupid actors! You think you're worth blah blah blah," right? Because I mean, it's good money, right?
I,
I'll just be
Here's
honest,
the
it's
deal:
really good money. But
we're not like these are stories other people have written. We're just like the piece of the whole. That's like we just kind of do what we're told.
yeah, exactly. I literally just, I mean, it's like, why, why I'm hired is because I do what the fuck they tell me to do.
Yeah, I'm good at not being myself.
Exactly. It's literally like I'm good at when someone says do this, I can do it, right? And they're
Yeah,
like, no, change this. No, turn a little bit this way. Do that. Like I just listen.
that's
That's like what makes me
yeah.
like that's
I'm
the
not a
reason why
pain
they
in
want
the
to
ass
bring
to
me on.
work with.
Exactly. Exactly. But I guess all I'm saying is that like, someone can look at our conversation and be like, "Oh, actors, whatever. Who cares if you guys don't have work?"
Totally.
It's like that's fine. That's fine. You can feel that way, but the point is that like we're having this conversation about the industry that we're in. But everybody in every industry could also be having this conversation. I don't think there is any industry that is off the table for like AI potentially taking over. And I mean, even the trades, because people will be like, oh, the trades, you got to get into the trades. And I'm not saying that they're wrong. Like, I do agree that if we're talking about like all of the things that AI is going to take over, I do agree that the trades is probably going to be like all the way at the end of the list. Okay. So, like, yeah, if you're trying to delay the inevitable, yes, go ahead, go to the trades. But ultimately, like, I don't think that that should be the goal because it's like you don't know how quickly things are going to progress, right? Just like we said, it was not even 5 years ago that Chat GPT was first released, and now it's not like, oh, it's going to take people's jobs. It is literally decimating like entire industries. Okay,
Yeah,
so like who's to say in another 4 years it's not going to be able to do that in the real world, like physically taking the trades jobs? And if that's the case, like you got to plan more than 4 years into the future. And so for me, like that's kind of what I'm looking at. Is like, so what does the world look like after AI has taken, and it can do anything that a human can do,
yeah.
right? But it
And
can do it
that's like,
better.
do we go back to a barter system? I don't
It's
know.
that's the real question, right? It's like,
Yeah,
what does the world look like? Because I do believe that it is a different world. I don't think it's the same one we live in.
yeah. And it's this generation that is like anybody alive now is in this position where we're going to have to figure out how to make that work.
Yeah.
So, that's why I say like we can rise to the occasion, but that process of growing, as anybody would say, is just it's growing pains. It's not a terribly
Yeah.
pleasant process. Um, people lose jobs, the comfort that we're all used to. People are you don't want to change.
Mm.
What works works.
Dude, you
It
said it
does.
right there, though. The comfort. I will
Yeah,
say that because this is okay. I'm saying this also from the perspective of like, an entrepreneur. Okay. I've always been the type of person who's like, I'm going to figure out how to way to make this work. Like, that's how I've always been. Okay. But there's a lot of people who
admirable.
are,
But there's not everybody's like that.
no, and I know that's what I'm saying is that there's a lot of people who are like it's kind of like victim mindset. And I'm not saying that sometimes people don't have a reason to feel like a victim. They have been victimized in certain ways. Okay.
Mhm.
Whether it's individually or by systems or something like that. Okay. So I'm not saying they don't have a reason to be, but what I mean is that most people, well, I guess maybe I shouldn't say most people. I've seen a lot of people who have a victim mindset. Okay. And a lot of times when I'm looking at them and their circumstances, and let's say specifically about money, let's say someone is like, it's so, and I don't disagree with this statement to be clear. It's so hard to make a living. Housing is so unaffordable. Oh my gosh, the cost of everything is going up, blah, blah, blah. And again, I'm not saying I disagree with any of those statements, but man, I totally lost where I was going. I promised there was a good point to this.
Well, it's a
This is what I was saying was about comfort. Okay. People complaining about like the cost of living and all those things and how hard it is. And I still, even though I don't disagree with what they're saying, I still can look objectively and be like, yeah, but to be clear, right? You are talking about having air conditioning, a cell phone, streaming, living in a
hot
nice
water.
apartment, hot water, all of these things, right? All these things that for thousands of years, like literally thousands of years, were unobtainable by most human beings. There's so many things that we have now that, because people want to talk about privilege. It's like, you want to talk about privilege. Humanity as a whole is privileged right now. We have so many things at this day, in this day and age, that for thousands of years human beings have never had.
I would almost like just here in the U.S. I would be scared to suggest that it like this extends beyond us. I know it does for
Sure.
sure, but like we're two dudes from the Chicago burbs, man. We like talk about freaking like privilege. Like I don't know what you're like. You look. It could just be like lighting that I'm just so god awfully washed out by these stupid freaking lights. I'm a white dude. I like
Yeah.
a white straight guy, no less. It's like it's not a great time for me. I don't care.
Like, to be clear, but it was classically a good time for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we had a great-
I agree with what you're saying, but just to be clear, I'm not saying every person in the world has all of this privilege. What I'm saying is that the current time that we live in, what is possible for human beings to have right now, and quite honestly, is the standard for a lot of people, is higher than it's ever been in human history.
Mhm.
And that being the case, what people need to understand is like, they're afraid of what's going to happen, what's this and that. And it's like, there are still people today and for thousands of years that they were happy being able to eat that day.
Yeah.
And for a lot of us, it's like we need to get to a point where we appreciate the basic things that we have. Even, okay, yeah, I can't go travel or I can't go do this.
We're so caught up in everything that we have. We can't, no history class is ever going to be like, oh, you know what? Maybe having to go kill a mammoth wouldn't have been something that I would have been terribly good at. So thank God that I don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to have that internal dialogue unless they've gone through something like seeing it beheading on the way to school. Like maybe there's a little bit in that individual that could be like, yeah, I kind of appreciate living in a safer space.
Yeah.
And by the way, a good friend of mine, that was her upbringing. We're talking Armenia.
Yeah.
So, this isn't a far fetched. This is still within our general generation.
Yeah.
But people are too here now. I don't think that anybody's ever going to be that gracious to appreciate what we had. And then we can talk about masculinity in pop culture because, okay, well, the men used to go out and like kill, so they would provide for the family. These days, what do men do? They just go, I don't know, trade crypto, and like they just push a couple buttons and that's it. And that's like you're providing for the family because you're making money. Like we have a completely different, ever evolving view of like the modern man, which has gotten lighter and lighter. So I don't know. Modern masculinity is, I think, shot to hell. But again, that's to say it's not a great time for the straight man.
Yeah. Well, I think just to like wrap up where I was going with that was like, I think
I went
if
off on a tangent, sorry.
it's okay. I just think when it comes to AI, I think we all have to come to grips with the fact that I do believe that a lot of things are going to change. I also do believe that it's going to be positive, like overall positive for humanity. But even still, with change can very likely come hard times. And we have all gotten very comfortable with the modern lifestyle that we have. And I think in order to be able to get through that time, we have to become appreciative for everything that we have. The fact that we're even alive, because to a certain extent, it's like you said, or not like what you said. What I mean is that if AI does take everyone's jobs and there is like a major transition period where we don't have everything that we have now, like in all of the comforts and conveniences that we have now, it's like we're going to have to be able to appreciate being alive and having food in our bellies, right? We have so much variety and so much technology and all these things now. And it's like, maybe it won't always be that way,
And that is a beautiful sentiment. But I don't believe that is something that we're capable of as a society.
What do you mean?
I look at, any moment where something is not going the way that the people feel like it should. Do they stand by and say, yes, I might not agree with how things are going, but boy, am I grateful, for my situation. Some people, mind you, have that mentality, and we hope that they want that, but generally speaking, there's an uprising. People push back, and that is not the society that we've come to know. And society or social media has only brought us, as this, like, we need to like tear down this like system, whatever it is that's breaking our comfortable way of being. So I hope that people would follow essentially your intonation. I see people fighting back, because the moment that we lose enough jobs, then people could get to a point where they think like, I don't have anything to live for now, so I got nothing to lose. Why not go try to just tear everything down? I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I'm not saying that I'm hoping for that, but
Yeah, no. No, I get it. I mean, ultimately, none of us know what's going to happen, right? We can all just speculate. I'm just sitting here in my office.
Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And while I'm sitting here talking about conveniences, right? I've got the air conditioning running and the fan on and this light lighting up my face. And so, I mean, yeah, none of us know what's going to happen, but yeah. Yeah. Well, Kyle, look, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I feel like we kind of covered a lot of different things. I wasn't expecting us to be talking so much about AI.
We did. I hope it didn't get too negative. I know that.
No.
I try to speak as objectively as possible about that stuff. And I also know that, podcasts are here to entertain and be, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on and sharing, your perspective on things and telling me a little bit more about your story. For anybody who's listening who wants to like connect with you in any way, how can they do so?
Probably just Instagram, Facebook. Go just give me a follow there. It's Kyle Asperger 301 on Instagram, and then it's just Kyle Asperger on Facebook.
Okay. Awesome, Kyle. Well, like I said, man, I really appreciate you coming on, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Giuliano, likewise, man. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review or share it with someone who'd appreciate it. For everything I have to offer, visit howtobeaperson.co.